Hey, good morning, good miracle working Monday morning. It is October the 9th, 2023, and I greet you from All Photos Considered. I am Jewel Wilson Murphy, and we are so glad that you stopped by this morning. Well, if you stopped by this morning or if you watch us later, we're still glad that you are here. And so again, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Jewel Wilson Murphy, and I am here with All Photos Considered. I just want to remind you of a couple things before we actually get started. And those things are that if you have a photo need, a media need, or whatever need you have regarding a camera, lights, camera action, All Photos Considered is your place. All you need to do is say my name, say that you need a service, and you will receive 10% off that service. So that's part one. Part two is if you have been interested or thought about doing a podcast, y'all know we talk about being tapped on the shoulder, so this is your virtual tap on the shoulder. If you're interested in doing a podcast, all you need to do is comment below. Just comment, hey, I'm interested in doing a podcast, and your first two podcasts in its entirety are free. All you need to do is say, this is what I want to do, and All Photos Considered will respond to you and get your first two complete podcasts for free. Zero money, nothing, nada. All you got to do is say, yes, that's me. And so again, I say good morning to each and every one of you. Last week's journey, we had an interesting time when we talked about bitterness. I thank you all so much for your comments. Please continue, can't talk, 7:02 a.m. Please continue to share this podcast because it was so much great feedback from that segment, from that journey. And again, I'm thankful for Miss Alex saying, hey, can you do a journey on bitterness? And we did that. And so this week we're going to talk about peace. Peace of war, peace or war, peace or conflict, peace or strife, peace or trouble, peace or discord, peace or contention, peace or unrest. Again, peace or turmoil. Which one? Would you want peace or would you want any of those things? Well, you guessed it. As I said a minute ago, this week's segment is on peace. I said a minute ago, we talked about bitterness, and this week's Chit and Chat is about the P word, peace, P-E-A-C-E. If you're a Bible reader, you know the Bible says peace that surpasses our understanding. If you're not a Bible reader, hopefully by the time we finish this segment, we've given you some encouragement and some ways to exude peace. What do you think about when you hear the word peace? Do you think about these acronyms, P, people expressing a Christ-like environment? Or do you think about this acronym, positive energy, always creates elevation. Positive energy always creates elevation. Is hypothyroidism heredity? I'm not sure where that came from. But anyway, or do you think about the argument that you had with your significant other? So do you think about the acronyms, or do you think about that argument that you just had with your significant other? Or do you think about what wasn't peaceful for you? Are you thinking about those conversations that you had with your children that led to a place of chaos, no peace? So sometimes we know that we have conversations with our children. They don't necessarily agree with us, and we don't necessarily agree with them, and it becomes chaotic. It becomes to a place where you're aggravated, they're aggravated, and there's no peace. Do you dread coming to work because your supervisor or your coworkers stays on your case about this or that, or they stay in your business about this or that? You want them to really drink their water and mind their business? Well, there's no peace there either. What about when you listen to the news or read Facebook or read the local newspaper and you read all those conversations, all those things that are going on all around the world, in Jerusalem, when you think about wars and rumors of wars, and you just realize that there's no peace. What about the doctor's report? That doctor's report that you dread hearing. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to accept the report. What about the bill that's overdue? What about your children's future? You're concerned about the doctor's report. You're concerned about that overdue bill, light bill, water bill, whatever the bill is, you're worried about it's going to be disconnected. What about your children's future? If they're little, you're worried about what they're going to do, what's going to be available to them. When you think about the sign of the times right now, when things are so expensive, when the housing market is in an uproar, things are so busy and so extremely almost unreachable. Housing is $1,800 to rent. Sometimes it's more than a mortgage. What do you think about that? What about your retirement? That would be me. Are you concerned about that? All these questions, where is peace? Where is peace in those situations? Maybe you got it all figured out. Maybe you got retirement figured out. Maybe you have your children's future figured out. Maybe even though that bill is due, past due, you have it all figured out. All the questions that we're talking about, all these questions, ask the question at the end of these statements and or question, where is peace? The peace lies inside of us. We have to choose peace. Remember a few weeks ago when we talked about, we quoted Mr. Gandhi's statement. He said, your beliefs become your thoughts. How do we become an ambassador of peace? Well, one of the things I suggest and I solicit to you is if you want to be an ambassador of peace, you know what I say all the time? Tell on it. Talk about it. Shout it loud enough. Think before you speak, though. Make sure you're seasoning your words with grace. Make sure that you are not being in a place where you're being aggressive in your speaking. Make sure you're open to listen. Remember, you're seeking to be an ambassador of peace. Test yourself. Take this test. Is what I'm about to say true? Is it necessary to be said? And is it necessary to be said by me? In other words, everything you say or everything you want to say may be true, but is it necessary to be said by you? Maybe coming from someone else, it'll be easier and it would exude peace. And that's why you take that test. Is what I'm about to say true? Is it necessary to be said? And is it necessary to be said by me? Pick your battles. Everything is, my mama used to say, everything doesn't require response. Sometimes we could just listen and don't speak. Sometimes it's really okay to exude peace in silence. That means that if someone says something to you that is in a place of unrest for you, where it's going to create chaos for you, where it's going to create a battle for you, it's okay to be silent. We just believe that peace exudes calmness in your spirit, calmness in your world. It doesn't cause you to be in a place of battling. The battle isn't yours. And so if you remember the acronyms that we talked about earlier, those prayerfully will help you walk through a place of peace. I'm all tongue-tied this morning. So anyway, this week's journey with All Photos Considered is peace. Remember the acronyms? Walk through those acronyms. Listen to yourselves. Listen and make sure that you are considering these things. P is for people expressing a Christ-like environment. The other one is positive energy always creates elevation. Do you want to go higher in your peace? Do you want to go higher in your peace? That word came all together, so I had to repeat it. Do you want to go higher and walk away from chaotic situations? So that means that you stay in a positive place, positive energy. Walk in the room with a smile on your face, even if you don't feel like it. Will you consider faking it until you make it? Positive energy always creates elevation. I want to be elevated. I want people to say when they are around Jewel that she's always peaceful. She's a peacemaker. You may not agree with what I say, but if you walk through what I do, you will see peace. I am Jewel Wilson Murphy. I'm here with All Photos Considered. Make sure this week you exude peace. Positive energy always creates elevation. Have a great week.